At the very start of an SMP, have you ever thought to yourself, after getting killed and destroyed in every way possible, I wish I had a way to fight back and do lots and lots and lots of damage for very cheap? Well, I have. The problem with this is that most weapons that have this ability are locked behind walls only accessible from mid to late game, like the mace. But today, I'm going to be delving into cart PvP, a form of combat I'm already familiar with. Oh, that was nice. But trying to stretch it to its absolute limits. This experiment is going to find every possible way to cart and order them from worst to best by scoring each method according to certain categories. These scores will be calculated by giving a score out of 10 in damage, accessibility and skill, and taking an average of these numbers. Out of all the projectiles in the game, which I'm counting as these, the only one that doesn't set fire from a flint and steel when you throw it in is an Eye of Ender. If you see there, it doesn't set fire. So that one we will not need for this. First up is the arrow. The arrow is a pretty simple one, considering that is what people use to cart with, so obviously we know that you can cart with a crossbow. Time for the damage test on the crossbow cart. The way we're going to do this is get a netherite kit with prot 4, blast protection and protection, so only blast prot on the leggings. And we're going to be at full saturation plus 2 extra absorption hearts. Then we're going to test out each one by standing directly on the cart. For the accessibility score, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10, considering these items are really not very hard to get early game. And for the skill to pull off in a fight situation, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10, because from this position, all you have to do is switch to the crossbow and right click. So our overall score is 7.5 out of 10. Next up is the fishing rod. As you can see, the fishing rod does set on fire through the flint and steel, so I'm hoping that it does work. With the fishing rod, it's a bit different, because the fire from the fishing rod, when it catches fire, doesn't set the cart on fire. The thing that does is when you pull the cart onto the flint and steel, which technically does work. However, it means diagonal carts like this don't really work, as it pulls it vertically across the rail. But these ones, horizontally, works perfectly. So, our damage score is 3 out of 10. Our accessibility score has got to be a 10. Like, all you need is to kill like one spider, get a little bit lucky, and that's one fishing rod. However, the skill to pull off is a little bit different, considering you have to click the fishing rod twice and pull it back into the flint and steel, and it also takes a little bit of time to detonate, which gives the opponent time to react. So I'm going to give this a 3.5 out of 10. Meaning our final score is 5.5 out of 10. Putting it second place on the leaderboard. Next up is the Trident. The Trident works pretty well. The only problem with the Trident, which the crossbow doesn't have and the bow doesn't have, is that the Trident has to be charged completely fully for it to be thrown. With the bow, you can charge it fully, you can charge it partially like this, which just makes the instacart so powerful because it's so quick. But with this, you can't partially charge the Trident. It doesn't work. So it has to be fully charged, meaning it's pretty slow to do. But it does work. Trident. Trident did so much damage. I'm having 6.5. For the accessibility, especially early game, the Trident is really quite difficult to get, as the only way to get it is from drowns using looting 3. So, I'm going to give it a score of 3 out of 10, because you can get lucky, but it is unbelievably hard early game. Now, for the skill score and ability to do it in fights, from this position it isn't very hard to do the motion itself. The hard bit is to get a point where you have enough time to charge up the Trident. So, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10, which gives us a final score of 5.5 out of 10. Which points it joint second on the list, but because I like the Trident more, I'm going to put that in second place and the fishing rod in third place. I'm going to group the next 3 together because they essentially do the same thing. The egg, the snowball, and the windcharge. They all get a 3.5 out of 10 for damage. I'm going to give the egg and the snowball both a 9 for accessibility and 5 out of 10 for skill to pull off in a fight, bringing both of their final scores up to about 5.8. I'm going to give the windcharge a 5 out of 10 for accessibility, and then a 6 out of 10 for ease of use in a fight because of the extra ability of pushing the cart further forward, bringing the final score up to about 4.8. So, this changes our leaderboard, and adds the snowball and the egg, then the trident, then the fishing rod, then the windcharge. Just one more to go. If you're wondering why there's only one more left and there was actually more in the chest, like the XP bottle, potion and firework, well, those 3 don't actually work to use the cart. You see, the firework does catch on fire but goes vertical. The bottle of enchanting also catches on fire but doesn't put the cart on fire. And then the potion does the exact same thing as the bottle of enchanting. Time to test out the ender pearl. This is going to be interesting. The ender pearl does in fact work. But obviously the thing with the ender pearl is that you're now on the cart as it explodes. And last but not least, the ender pearl. 3.5 hearts again. For the accessibility, it's got to be a 6.5 out of 10. Because it really isn't that difficult to get an ender pearl. You just need to kill an enderman. But, you know, that does require a little bit of effort. And then for the skill to pull off in the fight, I'm going to give it the same exact score as the egg and the snowball, which was 5. Giving us a final score of 5 out of 10. Which means the ender pearl is there and the windcharge is last. The crossbow being at the top is not unexpected, as it is the most versatile and the one that is used in PvP today. However, for the start of a server option, for the very beginning of the server option, an egg and a snowball are really good options, and if you want a bit more damage, you can go with a trident. But overall, just stick with the crossbow, guys. It's the best one, and the instacart, they're just the best. I then went on a PvP server and queued some custom with some of these ones, like the windcharge and the trident. So I'm going to put some clips on the end. If you want to stay and watch them, then great. And if you enjoyed the video, then subscribe and let me know down below what you think of these cart methods. Cheers. I think it's cheating to just insta it. Got him, but it was kind of cheating. Popped him.